Welcome to the NBA Preview Show. I'm Joe Duffy of OffshoreInsiders.com, and along with Troy West of TroyWins.com, we're going to preview the next several days in the NBA, some situations that we're looking at. And before I do get to Troy, remember, if you're not already subscribed to Sportsbook Review's YouTube page, you've got to do it now. And especially this week, Donnie Rightside and the big man on campus, they're fantastic as far as previewing the conference tournaments, whether it's the high-profile conferences, the power conferences, or the so-called mid-majors. These guys are encyclopedic with their knowledge, extremely informative. And, of course, you got other shows like Peter Loshak in the bag. They do both a very informative and entertaining show. So if you're not already subscribed to the Sportsbook Reviews YouTube page, make sure you do it now. And feel free to comment. Please also like our videos, but if you do have any questions or comments, Troy and I will respond. But like I said, we're going to take a look at the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday situations that are going to apply in the NBA this week. Troy West of TroyWins.com, what are you looking at for Monday?
Yeah, Joe, there's three games that I actually do like on Monday's card. I'm going to start with the Indiana Pacers at home and what could be a problematic first-round playoff matchup with the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks are playing better since Jason Kidd's departure, but I like the Pacers at home today. That's a small number for a really good home team, -2.5. Nate McMillan, like we've talked about in previous shows, has really got this Pacer team overachieving, and I like them to get it done at home against the Milwaukee team, like I said, playing good basketball, and I typically don't like betting against Milwaukee, but I feel like it's a good spot for the Pacers. I think that line's at about -2.5 right now, so I like the Pacers at home in that one. And this one might surprise people, but I like the Orlando Magic getting 9.5 against the Utah Jazz. The Orlando Magic playing much better basketball as of late. They're putting up a lot of points. They got a nice win the other night against Memphis, 107-100 at home. Utah's a good team. They're outstanding at home. They've overachieved throughout the course of the year, but 9.5 points in the NBA is a lot. I think Orlando covers that spread on the road. And then tonight in the marquee matchup, the Lakers and the Blazers, I'm going to go over 224 in that game. You got two teams that don't like to play a lot of defense. It's the run-and-gun style shooting. You got a lot of high scores from McCollum and Lillard on the Blazers, and then Lonzo Ball's playing better, and those Lakers, they sure like to run and gun as well. That's at 224. I expect that game to be a shootout. Could be the first one to 130 wins that one. I like the over in that. So those are my three strong leans for tonight, Joe.
As far as some games that I'm looking at for Monday, the Suns and the Heat, Miami in that rested versus an unrested opponent playing back-to-back games and 3 games in 4 nights. And I finally decided to look up, ran some parameters, and wanted to see the presumed tanking. But especially, most of my systems go back the entire history of my database going back to last century. But really, the Philadelphia 76ers kind of made the tanking in vogue. So really, over the last 2 years, I've been looking at situations where a team would be presumably tanking. When you have a team with a winning percentage of .310 or less, versus an opponent with a winning percentage of .390 or higher, meaning the non-atrocious teams that aren't motivated to tank. The bad team is .222 and .150 the last 2 years, with a very nice winning percentage that actually goes up with each loss. So in other words, later on in the season, the higher the winning percentage is. So going with teams that you might assume are going to tank, and you know what they say about assuming, but this is all about odds makers adjustment, over the last 2 years has been a great play, and that would benefit Phoenix here. That exact same presumed tanking angle would benefit Memphis here. So the basic theory, in my opinion, is that the odds makers are going to overadjust because they think that this team's going to tank and the other team isn't. Well, again, the quote-unquote presumed tanking team, a very good play. And make sure you watch every single solitary show because, as I said, it gets stronger and stronger as the season goes on. And it's going to apply a few more times this week. I'm going to talk about them. But first, Troy, what do you got for Tuesday?
Yeah, a couple games for Tuesday. The Warriors got the Nets at home. The Nets have been on the West Coast trip for quite some time now. Probably a strong letdown game for the Warriors, but I will ride with them. Warriors, they kind of get you scratching your head a little bit in these games that really don't have any meaning. But the Warriors really are playing for the 1 seed, so I don't see them lighting up. I think this is a team that really does need the 1 seed and wants the 1 seed over the Houston Rockets. So they're going to play a Brooklyn Net team at home. I got to go with the Warriors. I think this line's going to be around the 13 to 15 mark, but I like the Warriors to win this one by 20 plus points. And then the other one, another West Coast trip. You got the Blazers at home against the Knicks. The Knicks seems like they've been on the West Coast for almost a week now. They're going to go into Portland, and Portland's a covering machine at home. I don't have the exact statistics in front of me, but the Knicks, they lose another tough game in Sacramento last night. Now they got to go into Portland. The Knicks were favored last night, which shocked me. That was a big pick of ours with Sacramento, but I'm going to go with the Blazers. I think this line will be around 8 to 10 points. I like Portland to blow out the Knicks by 15 or more. I'm going to go with Portland. Knicks have been on the West Coast for too long. They're deflated. These guys, we talked about it. When Porzingis went down, it was going to be a downward spiral, and it's been just that.
Yeah, Troy, outstanding point. If Golden State and Houston is on a collision course for that dream at Western Conference Finals, that home court advantage would be monster. Like you mentioned, the Nets and the Warriors, in addition to everything that you said on that game, the Warriors will be with 2 extra days rest, and exactly as you said, in addition, Brooklyn's on that long road trip. The Pelicans and the Clippers, this is where, again, the teams with the combined over margin of 5 or greater, that means when you take the team's over-under margin, then that is how much they go over or under by. And if the teams combine for an over margin of 5 or greater, it turns out it's actually a solid under bet. Again, no surprise. The public sees 2 quote-unquote over teams. Their gut reaction, their knee-jerk reaction is going to be to bet the game over. The odds makers know that. The total is going to be artificially high. Therefore, 2 big over teams are actually a good under play, and that applies for the Pelicans and the Clippers. Nuggets and the Mavericks, that exact same presumed tanking system. That is not, you don't want to bet against the presumed tanking team. That would favor Dallas. And again, I gave the specific statistics at the top of this report. And again, that angle does apply a couple more times on this show. Make sure you watch the entire show. Troy, what do you got for Wednesday?
Yeah, just 2 plays for Wednesday. The first one, I actually do like the over in the Cleveland-Denver game. These 2 teams met just about a week ago, and this thing flew over. Denver getting the win and the cover, but they put up 120-plus points in Cleveland. We know throughout the course of the year, this Cavalier team defense is not in their vocabulary. They don't like to play it. Denver is a scoring machine at home. I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland hung around, so I'm going to stay away from the side. But I love the over. I don't think you can put this thing high enough. I expect it to be around 224 to 230 range, but I think it's going to fly over. Cleveland likes to put up a lot of points, shoot a lot of 3-pointers, and we sure know that Denver can score at home, and we know Cleveland doesn't play any defense. So I think it looks like a good overplay. And then don't take me here for face value here, Joe, but I do like the Milwaukee Bucks to potentially end the streak of the Houston Rockets on Wednesday night. They'll be at home. Houston starting a road trip. I got to think fatigue sets in at some point for Houston. They've won 14 in a row. Chris Paul did sit the other night. He may be back in the lineup, but I think Milwaukee, this will be a big marquee game at home. I would not be surprised to see Houston streak come to an end. We'll see what kind of value Milwaukee's got. If they're a 6-point underdog, I think sprinkling money line could be good. If it's around a pick 'em, I may stay away, but I do think Milwaukee could end the streak on Wednesday night.
Hey, you're not kidding, Troy. Milwaukee, a legitimate dark horse candidate. If there's a team that could really make a deep run in the NBA playoffs, it would be them in a big statement game indeed. Some games I'm looking at for Wednesday, the Pelicans and the Kings. Sacramento will be rested versus an opponent playing back-to-back in 3 games in 4 nights. In fact, the Kings will actually have 2 extra days rest, and the Pels will be, they're also in the middle of a long road trip, so they could be road weary. Now, again, 2 presumed over teams, when you have teams that have a combined over margin of at least 5 or greater. Again, they've won over the total by at least 5 points cumulatively. It's actually a solid under bet. I explained earlier why that is. And the Raptors and the Pistons, Detroit will be rested versus an opponent playing back-to-back in 3 games in 4 nights. And as I said, the Thursday night, not always the best night. Usually a shorter card and maybe not the rest dynamics. Troy, any games that really come out and jump at you on Thursday?
You know, Joe, I did take a pass on Thursday, dialed in on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but we'll be taking a pass on Thursday. We'll get a little, as we get closer to Thursday, we'll take a little bit closer look.
Okay, Troy, well, I did find it, a little bit unusual for this week. There are some rest dynamics. The Celtics and the Timberwolves, Minnesota will have 2 extra days rest. Nets and the Hornets. The Nets are in the middle of a long road trip. I do have my computer tell me when it's at least the 4th straight road game, which does apply here. And that's Suns Thunder. Again, the presumed tanking angle that I gave at the top of this report. Phoenix is actually a good play here, and as of right now, 222 and 150 in their favor. The team that you would think would be in a tank situation is actually a good team to bet on, even though the public might think that they would be a great team to bet against. So that would benefit Phoenix in this situation. Well, we're going to record the weekend preview. Make sure you join Sportsbook Review. We will have another video out on Friday, and again, subscribe to Sportsbook Review's YouTube page. Make sure you ask any questions. Troy and I will be happy to answer. And Troy, tell them what they can get at TroyWins.com.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Extremely excited to be diving into the conference tournaments as well and March Madness next week. Come take a look at what we're doing. We're happy to give you a free trial. Take care of you for free throughout the entire week. Come see what we're doing. That's TroyWins.com. I truly believe we're going to have an outstanding conference and March Madness tournaments.
And the same thing here. I got the nickname of Mr. March back on the score phones literally last century. These back-to-back-to-back situations create some extra dynamics that don't even apply during the regular season. But then again, some of the stuff we won with in the regular season also applies in neutral court, some added advantages as well. We'll talk about that more. Make sure you join me at offshoreinsiders.com for my daily selections. And like I said, the conference tournaments have some great situations that are really unique just to the conference tournaments and the NCAA tournament. And like I said, join us again on Friday for the NBA preview show here on Sportsbook Review.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.